And your name is still there. I changed your name and your name is still there. Oh Lord. So that means is that
I think you can change that.
how can I change it?
Oh,
Mhm.
sit there.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Because I know I had changed it when I first opened it up. Hi, is anybody there? Can anybody hear me?
Good night, Alicia. We can hear you.
Okay. Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
You staying warm? You keeping warm?
Yes, I'm staying warm. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Good night, Mr. Almanar.
Yes, good evening, everyone. How are you, Francisca?
I'm good, and good evening to everyone, and welcome,
Yeah.
Dr.
Hi.
Quill.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Good.
John. Oh, I'm on another computer, so I don't know what I'm doing.
What do you want to do?
I want the gallery. I want to do a gallery. Okay. Right? You do that? You just do that, right? Because
there you go.
okay, there it goes. Okay.
Just a quick question. Did you want me just to mainly answer questions or what?
Hi, Dr. Quayle. It's Warren Burke. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for coming.
Sure.
I would, if you could, there have been a lot of rumors in the community. One of our health committee members rose it. So I would say if you could take a couple of minutes just reviewing the number one, the production of the vaccine and how come it happened so fast. That's people are interested in, as well as the different dosages. People are saying that there are lower dosages in our community. And then you can open it up for questions.
Okay, sure. I have a very brief slideshow. I don't know if you want that, or I can just do it verbally.
That'd be terrific. We figure like 5 minutes presentation and then question and answers.
Sure, I can. You want me to show you my slides, and you can?
No, you could just let it rip.
Okay.
All right, but thank you so much for coming.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
Also, Dr. Quill, this is Francisca Leopold, the Chair for the Health and Social Services. And also, I would like you to touch on the importance for the two dosage, because there are people who would take the vaccine, and because of the side effects, then they would not take the other set, because I know they usually give the two. So if you could talk about it, elaborate on that also.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So we should be starting fairly soon. Figure about 7:15 for your presentation, Dr. Quayle.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe I'll just do this verbally. That might be
Whatever you like.
shorter and easier.
Okay,
So the vaccine safety,
correct.
why this was done so quickly,
Yes,
the dosing,
correct,
side effects,
correct.
and the efficacy.
Sure, that would be
Okay.
great.
All right, no
And
problem.
then people will ask their questions.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
While we're waiting to start, I put in the chat information about a workshop called Follow the Money. That's going to be happening on Thursday at 6 p.m. And this is for anyone who's interested in learning more about how to find out elected official or people who are running for office, find out where they're getting their donations from. So I'll be talking about that. MTOP is sponsoring that, and Preserve Our Brooklyn Community is also sponsoring it. I'm sorry, Preserve Our Brooklyn Neighborhood sponsoring it. And it's happening on Thursday, this Thursday at 6 o'clock. So it's in the chat, the information. I'll be talking more about it during the public comment period session, but for now.
Good night, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Blessings.
Good evening. Melissa, it's good to see you.
Hi, Francesca. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm managing. I'm here. I made it. Thank you.
That's good. Wonderful.
It's okay. Melissa's the only one friend sees.
My apologies. My apologies. Hi, beautiful people. Everyone. Hello.
Well, it wasn't you, Melissa.
Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone.
I was specifically needling the second vice chair.
Good night, Mr. Chair. Good night, everyone. It's good to see everyone.
Good evening.
The good thing about it is that we are in-house, right? We don't have to go out in the cold. That's the good thing about it.
Absolutely. We're just going to give it about another 2 minutes, and then we're actually going to call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Can I just say that this is Barbara from Test and Trace. I'm just loving the energy that's in the room tonight. Loving it.
Well, thank you very much and welcome. Welcome. Glad you're able to join us this evening.
Yeah, this is nice. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I see we now have 7:09 p.m. and it looks like we have a good amount of people who are here right now. So we are going to begin the meeting. I'm now calling this meeting to order. The time is now 7:09 p.m. Alejandro,
Hello?
are you there? You ready?
Yes.
Okay, calling the meeting to order 7:09 p.m. I want to welcome everyone to the January 2021 meeting, General Board meeting for Community Board 9. My name is Fred Baptiste. I currently serve as chairperson for Community Board 9. And I just want to, thank everyone and hope everyone's having a good new year, a safe new year, and a healthy new year. You know, last year was definitely a trying one. I think definitely with the coming or the rollout of the vaccine, hopefully that helps our fortunes and improves the health state of New York City. And I want to also begin by just saying how proud I am of this board and all the things that we were able to accomplish in 2020, especially given
Want to
the
get him a
circumstances we were
nightstand.
working on.
He can,
Yes, just as a matter of housekeeping, if we can, if you are not speaking, please make sure you keep your microphones muted. I would ask that before anyone speaks, please make sure you seek recognition from the chair so that way we can make sure that everything maintains an orderly process and flow and make sure people are heard, but at the same time be able to move our agenda. Next is, I just want to make sure I remind everyone of our code of conduct. We're going to waive the reading of the code of conduct. It is available on the website and through the district office. Essentially, it just means that we're all going to play nice while we're here together this evening. We're going to make sure that viewpoints are respected. People will have an opportunity to speak and be heard, and we're not going to be disruptive as we do this as well. So with that, we are going to go on to the next item in our agenda. We have presentations for this evening. First, do we have Dr. Quayle? Are you on?
I'm on.
I see you. Okay. So this evening, for everyone's benefit, we have with us today, and if I miss any, misrepresent anything, please correct me. We have Dr. John Quayle. He's a physician of infectious diseases with Kings County, New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation. And he's going to be speaking with us this evening a little bit about COVID-19 and the vaccine that's been actually developed. Dr. Quayle, the floor is yours. Please take it away.
Thank you. I just want to say I've been at Kings County for about 40 years. It's my second home. I really love it there. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk. So I was asked to talk about the vaccines, the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines in particular, because those are the two that are out there. And I wanted to answer some questions and some misperceptions that commonly come up regarding these vaccines. The first question that frequently I get asked by coworkers as well as by patients is the COVID-19 vaccine safe, the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine? Well, they did large clinical trials for these vaccines involving thousands, tens of thousands of people, and there were no red flags that came up regarding vaccine safety. They followed people for 2 months after the vaccine, and that's when the vast majority of vaccine side effects occur. And really, the vaccines were found to be very safe. I want to emphasize there's no live virus in these vaccines. You cannot get COVID from the vaccine. The vaccine does not get into our DNA. It does not become part of us. It does not alter our DNA. So, you know, that's a very common misperception about the vaccine. Finally, the vaccines were reviewed by the FDA. They held them to the same scrutiny as any other vaccine, and all of the requirements and standards of any other vaccine were met by the FDA, and that's why they issued this emergency use authorization to allow them to be used in the general public. I just want to say these vaccines are about 95% effective in preventing the transmission of COVID from one person to another. They're highly effective, and you're not going to get a vaccine much more effective than that. Another question that commonly gets asked to me is, why were these vaccines developed so quickly? And how did we get here so fast? This pandemic has been going on for a year. It's unheard of that we have a vaccine in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of funding, both private and public, went into developing these vaccines. A lot of resources went into it. Pfizer and Moderna are very large companies. They have research networks that are already existent, and they plug these vaccines into these research networks. The vaccine trials were multinational. They got people with a wide variety of backgrounds, racial, ethnic, age groups. So they, male and female, were about 50-50. So they really tried to get a wide variety of people involved in the study. When the results became promising, the company started to do the various phases of the trial simultaneously instead of sequentially, so that there were no steps that were skipped, but they kind of combined them as they went along to accelerate the process. And the FDA made this a priority to review and did this in a rapid way to review all the data and again issued this emergency use authorization so that we could start using these vaccines in the public. Another question that I commonly get are regarding the dosing. And both vaccines require 2 doses in order to ensure that you have full immunity to the virus. And the vaccines, the doses are separated anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the vaccine that you get. And lastly, the side effects from the vaccine. Minor side effects are common with all vaccines, including the coronavirus vaccine. A sore arm people will get, and the most people will get a sore arm that will last a day or two. A significant proportion of the people also develop systemic side effects like muscle aches and fatigue and chills. Those generally last 2 to 3 days and are relatively minor. You've probably heard about in the news some serious allergic reactions, and they certainly can occur. And there are certain people that should not get the vaccine, especially people with very severe allergies. But the risk of an allergic reaction, a serious allergic reaction, is about 10 out of every million doses administered. So it's still a relatively rare event.
Excuse me, Dr. Quayle?
Sure. Go ahead.
It's Warren Burke. Your audio is muffled. I'm not quite sure why. So you may want to check your microphone.
The microphone is on. You can't hear me very well?
Now you better, but we've been getting in the chat room that it's hard to understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Thank you. Now it's good.
All right. The side effects are tolerable. You get a sore arm for a day. You may get muscle aches that may last for a couple of days. It is well worth getting the minor side effects over the risk of getting COVID. These vaccines are very effective. 95% chance that you're going to be protected from getting COVID. So I really highly encourage people to get the vaccine. Sorry if you didn't get the whole story.
No, it was fine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quayle. I think we do have a few minutes to take a few questions from I guess the community and members of the board. Is there anybody who has a question for Dr. Quayle? Please either raise your hand or put in the indicate in the chat. All right, I see Amy Pinkerton has a question for you. Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, hi. I actually in today's paper, I read that Dr. Fauci is recommending that you may test positive for antibodies, you should still get the vaccination. I wanted to know why. And then if you could also address, there's going to be variants of the coronavirus over time. And I was just wondering, we can't possibly field off all of them. So getting the vaccination for one should suffice for most people. And can you just address that a little bit? Thank you.
Sure. So if you have antibodies, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't get the virus again. And there are clear instances of people getting the COVID infection twice. So even though you may have had COVID and you have antibodies, it's still, you can still get it again. Your immunity seems to wane as time goes along. And after you've had COVID, the next 3 months after you had COVID, you're pretty safe that you're not going to get it again. But after 3 or 4 months, your risk of getting COVID again is certainly there. So you should get the vaccine so you don't get it again. Like I said, if you had COVID within the past 3 months, there's probably no rush to get the vaccine. You're safe because of natural immunity. But as time goes along, you may lose that immunity, and you should still get the vaccine. Regarding the variants, very good question. So the variant that's from England seems to be covered by the vaccine. So we think that so far that's going to be okay. There's a variant in South Africa that's a bit more worrisome, and they're looking at that right now to see if the vaccine is going to be effective against that type of virus. It seems as though the immunity is not as good as people after the vaccine against that particular virus. It still seems protective, but we're still finding out, and that you may need booster shots, or they may have to alter the vaccine a little bit, just like the flu shot every year, to make sure that all these variants get covered as time goes along. Nobody knows those answers right now. Time is going to tell exactly where these variants fit in and if it messes up our vaccine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Crow. Yakov, I do see your hand raised. Do you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Doctor, for all the wonderful work you do and important work you do in the community. I join so many others in thanking God for this miracle of the vaccine. I want your advice, Doctor. When I am sort of, dealing with different members of the community and different elements within the community that question the vaccine, and the strongest issue, the greatest challenge I have is messaging coming from the state and the city. When I go to somebody, I say, listen, you feel you're safe, you feel that the vaccine is a risk, but do it for the greater good. Do it for everybody. If we don't get vaccinated, it's the country is not going to. The only way to save the country, to save the world, is if a lot of us get vaccinated. And people turn to me and say, if I get vaccinated and I'm exposed to the virus, why do I still have to quarantine if the vaccine works? So I find that sort of, in certain countries, I know in Israel, if you're vaccinated, you're exposed, you're not required to quarantine. They're putting, in the passports, people that are vaccinated are allowed to travel. But I see in New York State, the message we seem to be hearing from the city and state officials are, if you get vaccinated, it doesn't change anything. Wear your mask and you still have to quarantine. And from the standpoint of messaging, it becomes a great challenge when you're telling people it works, and then you're telling them, but you have to quarantine and wear a mask anyway. How would you answer that question?
So we're not at the point yet where the vaccine has been so widespread where we can start relaxing policies regarding personal protection and social distancing. As I said before, the vaccine is 95% protective, but there's still that 5%. And until we have a significant amount of herd immunity so that we're protecting each other, I think we still have to follow social distancing and all the rules regarding masks and everything else. So that's a very good question. And as time goes along, as more and more people get vaccinated, then we can start relaxing some of these restrictions. But right now, I got the vaccine. I still do all the PPEs and everything else because I may be in the 5% that didn't respond, and I want to still protect myself. But like I said, as we expand the vaccine and more of the population gets vaccinated, then we can start relaxing some of these regulations. I don't know if I answered your question very well, but it's a tough question. I mean, you would think that if you got the vaccine, then you're safe, but we don't have all that confidence yet. I mean, we're getting there, but we're not totally there yet.
Well, thank you for your response. I appreciate it.
All right.
Dr. Quayle, the chair actually has a question as well. So with regards to the vaccine, so if it works, then that means you won't get sick with from the coronavirus. But does the vaccine stop transmission? So say if you're exposed to it, that you can't carry it back? I just want you to answer that question so that we make sure we're clear on that.
Good. So there's a little bit of data with the Moderna vaccine, not so much with the Pfizer vaccine, but they should be the same. What it showed is that it reduces but doesn't eliminate your chance of acquiring the virus. So, yes, there's a reduction in the chance that you can acquire the virus and transmit it to someone else, but it's not 100%. You can still acquire the virus. More oftentimes, you're going to be asymptomatic. And even if you do get sick, your illness is less likely to be severe compared to someone who didn't get the vaccine. But yes, you can still acquire the virus. You can still transmit it to someone else, but it's markedly reduced compared to someone who didn't get the vaccine.
Mr. Chair, Lorraine Thomas have her hand up.
Okay, so Lorraine Thomas has her hand up, Doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lorraine Thomas, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me? Hello?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, is this vaccine licensed by the FDA? Because I was told that it was not. It was only released because of emergency purposes. Is it licensed by the FDA?
It has now gotten full approval by the FDA. It's gotten this emergency use authorization.
Yeah.
Correct. They're still following this as an investigational agent. They're still collecting information as time goes along. So you're right. They accelerated the process to get this into the public, but it's not fully FDA approved. Correct.
So you're putting something in your body that is not licensed by the FDA.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
I put it in my body.
Well, good for you. Good
Yep.
luck. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, we have time for one last question. I see Nicholas Almanor, you have a question?
Yes, Doctor, thank you for coming. Question I have, why did it take such a short period of time for this for the vaccine to be manufactured, produced in there? What kind of research that was done that make it so fast? Because normally vaccine take years before they can be accepted and produced.
Right. So I kind of mentioned this, but I guess I was muffled. So the Moderna and Pfizer are large companies. They have well-established research networks that they were able to plug these vaccines in very quickly and study a very large population of patients over a brief period of time. They did, and when you're doing a study, you do phase 1, then phase 2, then phase 3, then phase 4. Usually those things are done sequentially. You do one, then you do the other, then you do the other, then you do the other. What these companies did is they started to do them simultaneously so that all that information got compressed into a shorter period of time. So they didn't make any shortcuts. They did everything they had to do, but they compressed it into a shorter period of time, not like you do for a vaccine during normal time. So the last thing is, as soon as they saw that there was some promise for these vaccines, people started to develop immunity and antibodies. These vaccines are easy to make. They're not like they have to grow it in chicken eggs and grow it up and everything else. They can manufacture them without doing all that. So they're much easier to make. And as soon as there was promise that these vaccines looked promising, they started to manufacture them. So that they took a gamble, they took a chance. But as soon as the studies were completed, they had a stockpile of vaccine that was ready to go. So, that's kind of why it got pushed along. And plus, there was a lot of federal funding that went into this. The companies themselves invested a lot of money. So, there was a lot of dedication and research and resources that went into this. because of the nature of the pandemic.
If I may ask a follow-up question, most vaccine is taking the denatured virus, but this one was done with mRNA using CRISPR and genetic engineering. So actually you're not putting in your body a deadened virus, you're putting a completely different substance, which is a different process that's being used into making vaccine. Can you confirm that for me, or is it something different?
No, that is correct. This technology using RNA for a vaccine has been around for about 30 years. It never really made it into the clinical situation because they had some technical difficulties with it people mounting a good immune response. They more recently have been using these nanoparticles to coat the RNA that protects it, and so the delivery system is better. And so now people are mounting a better immune response. And that's why these vaccines seem to be much more effective than old vaccines. The same RNA technology has been tried for influenza vaccine, rabies vaccine, Zika, but they didn't work very well. And it's because of the delivery system. With the recent technology, they've improved the delivery system, and they're much more effective. So it's a very promising technique. Like I said, it's been around for 30 years, but this is the first time they actually got it down good.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. Warren, I think, did you have a comment you need to make?
Yes, Dr. Quayle, could you just tell us about getting vaccinated at Kings County Hospital and what it entails?
Sure. You can call the vaccine hotline or the vaccine website for New York City. It'll give you a list of the places in your community where you can get the vaccine. We should be getting another supply of vaccine as early as tomorrow. So we hope to get our program up and rolling again. We started, and then there was obviously the shortage. It's in T Building, which is in the corner of New York Avenue and Clarkson Avenue. And like I said, go online and make an appointment, or call the 877 number for New York City to make an appointment. And let's get people vaccinated. So we're been giving it out.
How many people have you been vaccinating a day on the average?
I can tell you the first, I don't know that number.
I heard about 200.
I don't know. I don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I know the first couple of weeks we had about 2,000 employees that got vaccinated. So there was a very good turnout with our employees. I honestly don't know that number.
Okay, I can fill that in. Thank you. And thank you for a great presentation.
All right, thanks.
Yes, Dr. Quayle, I really want to thank you for joining us this evening. Unfortunately, we do have to move, and I know that there were a couple of other questions, but we do have to move on to the agenda for this evening. But again, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. You're always welcome to come and join us here at Community Board 9. And I definitely want to acknowledge Warren Burke, who currently serves as a representative on the Community Advisory Board at Kings County Hospital. And I absolutely wanted to give a thanks to our Health and Social Services Chairperson, Francisca Leopold, for helping to arrange this as well. And one last one, I also want to thank Melissa Severe, one of our members, who's actually putting information into the chat. And hopefully this is going to be good information. And we'll try and see if we can also post some of this information on our community board website. Plug. So that way members of the community can access that as well. But Dr. Quayle, thanks again so much. Thank you again for everything you do. You're one of those first responders. You're one of the people who are running towards the emergency when everybody else is trying to avoid it. Thank you so much for coming. Stay safe.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Quayle.
My pleasure. Thank you. I really
Thank you, Dr. Quayle.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, moving on our agenda, we do have a representative from New York City Health and Hospitals Test and Trace Corporation with us today. We have Ms. Barbara Williams. Ms. Williams, thank you. Welcome to Community Board 9. And we know you have some very good information for us this evening. If you're there, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. First, I want to say I'm really honored to be here in the presence of Community Board 9. This is a great room. I can sense the spirits in the room, and it's telling me that you guys are really inviting to people like me. So my role is the Assistant Borough Director for Brooklyn with New York City Test and Trace. And it's a role that I take very serious because I worked in healthcare for 20 years in admin. And during that time, I saw the different disparities when it came to healthcare for Blacks and Brown. And as a woman who is Black, you know, we see how we lack in so many areas compared to areas such as Park Slope, right? In downtown Brooklyn. And so I figured it was time for me to go back to school to get my PhD. And so I'm currently working on my PhD to try to fix these inequities. And so when they offered me an opportunity to come work for Test and Trace, I said, why not? It seems like the best place for me to be. And so my role is helping with the prevention of COVID spread through through resources and through providing information. And so we do this through events that we attend, that we give. Today we had something called Get Tested Tuesday. You may have seen a flyer where we go into various communities within Brooklyn and we hand out face masks and hand sanitizers, all kinds of PPE, and we let people know where they can get tested, okay? The other thing we do is specialized events such as Black History Month events. We're doing that next month. We're doing something with the teens as well. We focus on some activities with the seniors. And so my role is to work with you as a community board to make sure that your community has the resources that it needs in order to fight this COVID, okay? Whereas the doctor who was great, he just spoke, his job is clinical, mine is more behind public health, and that's more about prevention and stopping the spread of the disease. Okay, so what we need from you guys is when we get these flyers that we put out there that indicate where the most recent testing sites are, if you could share it with your communities. If you have a health committee, I would love to collaborate with the health committee to do some work with you guys. If you can come out and support our efforts, and if you have anything that's coming up, even if it's not health related, and there's an opportunity for us to give out face masks, hand sanitizers, face shields, invite us, because my job is to work for you. Okay, I work for you. My job is to make sure that each and every one of you on this call is protected so you can keep on doing what you're doing in the community, and that's great work. So my name is Barbara Williams. I put my name and number in the chat, and this way you can have my personal cell and you can give me a call. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. I think we have time for a couple of questions. Is anyone who has a question for Ms. Williams?
Hi, it's Warren. Barbara, I just wanted to reinforce that even though the vaccine sites have closed down, the testing sites are still open.
Yes, the testing sites are still open. One of the projects that I'm working on is a sort of care package for people who come in for testing. So I'm trying to see if the testing sites are interested in giving like a face mask when people come to get tested, and perhaps changing out into a new mask when they leave the sites.
That's terrific and well needed. What about in terms of wait times? Everybody is very concerned with wait times. My information from King's that it's 30 minutes and under, and I'm sure that's on a good day. Do you have any insights into that to guide our residents?
Yes, so we do have a dashboard, and on the dashboard, you're able to see the wait time for some of these facilities. And so you go on and you look and see, and it tells you what the wait time is between appointments.
That's great. Could you put that information in the chat, please?
Yes, I'll have to dig into my emails, but I'll put it in the chat. If I cannot find it, I will get it to the chair.
Oh, exactly. And thank you for all your good work. It is so important. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will also get the link to the chair as well where it has the weekly flyers where it shows where the testing sites are, because some of them are mobile and some of them move around. And my apologies, I see Miss Boyd. I didn't have my camera on. I didn't realize I didn't have my camera on. So my apologies to Miss Boyd.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams.
Ms.
And I
Williams,
think we have time for one more. Yeah, I'm sorry. We do have Ms. Pinkerton did have a question first, and then Fran will get to you right after that. Okay, and then we'll close on you. The last question. Amy, did you have a question?
Sorry, I realized I was on mute. Well, two observations. I was just wondering now, I don't know if it's New York, but I just read in the paper also that they inquired about teachers, and I think it was New York City, New York State couldn't report how many teachers had received the vaccination. And I was wondering, is this something that is tracked or should be tracked? And if it's not, why? And then secondly, it just seems like we're not, well, the news is saying that we're not getting very many vaccinations, vials to give out, and sites are closing due to the lack of vaccinations to give out. So I was wondering, like, what's the bottleneck and what's the forecast for going forward? Thank you.
Okay, two questions. The second part, I can give more of my opinion because I don't deal with the vaccines. I deal more of prevention. And for what I understand, the bottleneck in receiving the vaccines was basically due to the federal level not providing enough vaccines. Okay. As far as the first question, I'm sorry, can you repeat the first question again?
Oh, I was just wondering, there seemed to be some sort of issue about teachers being frontline and not being, not knowing the metric of teachers being vaccinated. I'm sorry, I'm not certain if this is New York City or elsewhere, but I was just wondering, for frontline workers, are these metrics being tracked? Are they important to be tracked? And if they are important and not tracked, do you have a reason?
Well, as far as tracking, I can speak to my director and find out if there is a metric for tracking. My concern wasn't really with tracking how many teachers were being vaccinated. My concern was making sure that everyone in the school is being offered the vaccinations, because as you know, it's not just the teachers that are there dealing with the students. We also have like the teachers' assistants, and we have the people who serve them lunch, and we have the crossing guards. So my concern was just making sure that everyone has free access to across the board, that you don't just say like one class of people, that you include the people who like work in the hospital. It's not just the doctors and the nurses. You also have the clerks. And a lot of times you often forget about the little guys who work there that clean the rooms and, deliver the food. So my concern was more of equality across the board for everyone.
Sure, and I may have misspoke, but I'm just saying schools in general, it's important to have the frontline workers vaccinated. I was just wondering if the schools, that metric is being tracked. Like, how do you know if the schools are safe to reopen if you don't know who works in the school has been vaccinated?
That's a good question, and I will bring that up to the higher ups, and I'll see if I can get an answer for you.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
I
you
just
very
wanted
much.
to Miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go
Ms.
ahead.
Williams, that I'm Francesca Leopold. I'm the Chair for Health and Social Services. So thank you much for the information that you brought on to us. And I have your telephone number, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I'll give you a call.
I'm excited to work with you as well. I've been doing a lot of food pantries because we have a large problem when it comes to people not having the food they need, and so we're giving out information at food pantries. You name it, we do it. I'm working with Woodhull Hospital to do a bunch of programs as well. So anywhere you need me to go in Brooklyn, I will go. Like I said, there's been a big issue with Black and brown people not getting the health care they need, as we all know. I mean, it's time for a change, right? And the only way to make a change is if we all get involved.
Agreed. Thank you so
I
much.
did say,
Thank you.
I did say Ms. Leopold was the last question, but Ms. Boyd, I see your hand. We'll recognize you. Quick question, but we have to move on.
Okay, well, thank you, Ms. Barber, for showing your video. And no worries, I appreciate it. I just have one question. I mean, we're talking about tracking. Is there any privacy issues that will be violated if someone may not want anyone to know that whether they've taken it or have not taken it? Is that an issue that you guys are addressing?
It's not an issue because anytime you go for something like that, it's covered under HIPAA. And no one is supposed to share. Even if we go to an event and people online to take vaccines, we are not allowed to take pictures. So everything is done in order to prevent your information from getting out there. If you look online for HIPAA guidelines, you'll see what kind of information can and cannot be given out. If you're really, really, really concerned about your information being given out to anyone, you can have something on your medical record called breaking the glass or breaking the seal. Okay. And what that does is anytime someone goes into your medical chart, no matter who they are in a facility, they have to put in a password and that's tracked. So they know everyone who's looked at your chart. And as someone who's worked in healthcare, I wanted to make sure that anyone who I worked under wasn't looking at my medical chart, right? And so I put a break the glass on there so that no one can go into my chart without being tracked. In order for someone to get your information, you have to sign off on, like to give permission for someone to see your information. So this information is really protected and it's not being given out there.
Okay, Ms. Williams, thank you so much for your time and for all the information you've given us this evening. We really appreciate you here, and I hope you have an invitation to definitely come back and share with us anything as you're going along. And I'll put it out there. We'll put it out there in the ether. So, Dr. Williams, we're looking forward to seeing you again here at Community Board 9.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, guys. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Good night. Okay. All right. We are now going to move on to the agenda. We're going to go to the public comment period. Public comment period is 30 minutes total in duration. We will be allowing speakers 3 minutes maximum to address the board and the community. So let me see. In terms of what I've seen in the chat, I see Ms. Kirky Fix. I saw Ms. Boyd. I saw Ms. Barnes. Is there anyone else who would like to speak as well during public commentary? Mia, do you see any other hands raised or anybody else in the chat?
Alejandra has her hands up. Sorry, Alejandra.
I see. Alejandra Caraballo.
No, that's it.
Okay, we will close on Alejandra. Okay, Ms. Fix, are you still on?
I am here.
Okay, welcome. You have 3 minutes to make comments.
Hi. Thanks. I'm just very concerned about the hiring process. It doesn't seem like I'm concerned that the board is not acting in good faith to the community and choosing someone with the right amount of experience. And I speak as someone who did not like the behavior and actions of the previous appointee. So I'm just very concerned, and I ask that you hire the person who's best qualified and who represents our community in terms of our diversity in income, race, gender, all the stuff. This is Brooklyn. This is the new Brooklyn. And we care about our community. And I ask that you hire the correct person with the right amount of experience, not someone who comes in without, experience and background to run. This is a difficult community for the reasons I'm mentioning, because of the diversity, because of the crisis we're in right now with the pandemic, overdevelopment, not listening to, people running rampant, trying to make money. not protecting the Botanic Garden, the parks, issues of income, affordable housing. You guys are the front line. So I'm just asking that you truly represent our values in Brooklyn of care, concern, community, respect, and love. And stop running roughshod over us by picking somebody who's in bed with developers, who's not representing who we are. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Ms. Fitz. Alicia, Ms. Boyd.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. There's several things. One of the things that we are doing a workshop on Thursday, and I put it into the chat. It's called Follow Money. We have an opportunity this year to get new we have an opportunity. Okay, great. We have an opportunity to pick a new council people. However, we know that everyone has the slogan that they're not taking real estate money, but we know that real estate money is coming anyway. And so this workshop is going to be really helpful in getting people to see behind the curtain, because all of our candidates look good, they all speak well, they all say the exact same thing that we want to hear. However, it's really important to know who's actually giving them money, because that's the people that they want to be beholden to. We've already suffered for 7 years with Lori Cumbo, who was the real estate person, gave them she received $250,000 from Jobs for New York, and we have now an abundance of development in our communities. So please do consider coming to that workshop on Thursday. As you know, we have won our lawsuit. However, there is a sanctions and contempt of court motion that's going in front of Judge Bodie on February the 4th. Please think about attending that meeting. If you're not getting emails from MTOP, you can always just contact MTOP. I'll put my telephone number in the chat. You can call me and I can put you onto our email list. There's another issue that's coming up. Corey Johnson is trying to pass a bill. People need to be very much aware of that bill. It's basically a master plan where the city, the mayor's office, will be actually creating a development plan for each community, and there's no community input, and they will be deciding that plan. So that bill is very, very dangerous. And lastly, I want to talk about tonight. You should be attempting to vote on the new district manager. I know the community loves Ms. Hilton, and we wanted Ms. Hilton very much. A lot of people have talked about praising Ms. Hilton, but Ms. Hilton has told us that she definitely does not want the position. Obviously, you can't offer something that she does not want. So you wind up with two candidates, a male and a female. We realize that the young man is very, very young. He has very little experience. He has no experience in our community. He does not come from our community. Came from Tennessee, raised in Tennessee. We were kind of shocked that we looked at his Facebook page and we saw that he had no Black people on his page. And he does not come from Brooklyn. He doesn't know anything about Brooklyn. And yet
Ms. Boyd, I need you
he
to
might
conclude
be
your
the one
comment.
representing us. And that really disturbs us. Okay, the young woman, on the other hand, also doesn't have a lot of experience, but she has, she comes from Brooklyn. She has graduated from Howard University, which is a Black university, in a degree of Black studies. So she at least has some sense of Black people and who she is in relationship to that. She also has a degree in advocacy. So we hope that she could, be an advocate for us. It was the search committee's first choice. And we do hope that the community and the community
we need to cut you off. We have to move
behind
on.
her
Your
and
time is
vote her in.
expired. Your time is expired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Fred. I appreciate it.
Next, we have Ms. Maxine Barnes.
No. That's not okay.
Good evening, community. Please don't cut me off, Fred. I'm old and I don't want the shenanigans tonight. I'd like to speak.
3 minutes, go for it.
Yeah, I will. I'd like to follow up on I think Ms. Fix and Alicia's concerns as well, but I'd like an answer to my question. And my question is, yes, why is the final choice for a district manager applicant that has only been in New York 3 years, in Queens, not even in Brooklyn, has only 3 years work experience, very young. An applicant, as Alicia said, from Tennessee, okay, has never lived in Brooklyn. A district manager, it is essential that our district manager for our community understands the unique dynamics of Brooklyn. To me, that is a prerequisite that's top of the list. And again, we have to get it right this time. Come on, board member, come on, board. It is again, and I said this last meeting, the sign of insanity to do the same damn thing over and over and expect a different result. We have had a politically inspired and referenced district manager before. And we've had the experience and we know it doesn't work. This person from Tennessee voted for himself as district leader. He's very young, and obviously, having said that, he has political aspiration. We've been down that road. We know it doesn't work. And again, I would like for one of you board members to answer this question. Why are we doing the same thing again? This person is obviously not qualified to be the district manager of a community board that we've been waiting for 6 years. Can I get an answer? Doesn't make sense to me. Let's choose the person that is most qualified for the job. And I saw on Facebook, young lady, yes, Howard University grad, born and raised in Brooklyn, knows Brooklyn, good work experience, managerial experience. Come on, can I have an answer? Is my 3 minutes up? Can I get an answer within my 3 minutes from someone, anyone? Hello, can you guys hear me? Can I get a wave?
We can hear you.
Okay, now can I get an answer?
There is, the board is currently in process. There is no answer because there has been no final determination made.
But my question was, why was this person even being considered based on their references and their resume? It doesn't fit.
The board is currently in process. There is no answer for you because we haven't made any decisions yet.
There is an answer. Fred, just say why you chose this person as a unless I'm wrong, this is a final choice, one of the finalists, if you will. A person that never lived in Brooklyn, from Tennessee, must be like 20, whatever, 3 years experience. We got Mia here that did the job. It has to be an answer why this person was chosen. Can I get an answer? And who's ever taken the minutes of this meeting, could this please be put in the record? Why was this person chosen as a finalist, a person who's that young, 3 years in New York, none of which is in the unique experience of Brooklyn, political aspirations, little or no work experience? Why is this person a candidate for our district manager?
Thank you very much, Ms. Barnes. Your time is up.
Could that please be put in the record? Who's ever taken?
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Barnes. Next, we have Alejandra Carballo.
Thanks, Fred. I wanted to bring to the community's attention an issue that's been consistently happening, and I think it's happening again. The Associated on Nostrand and on the corner there with Sullivan Place has been given a 90-day notice to vacate. They had a 5-year lease that ended in December, I believe in December of last year, and they were going month to month. And then just recently this week, they were given a notice to vacate. So, they have 90 days. I'd imagine they probably would be only open for a few more weeks before they have to start clearing out. That's one of the only major grocery stores in the immediate area. And given that there's, more development going on right next door, it's not surprising what may end up happening in that area. And it's, consistently we're losing grocery stores, we're losing stores that have been in the community for decades that serve as bedrocks of the community for more luxury development. And, I've already been in contact and informed Senator Zellner-Myrie's office, Assembly members Diana Richardson and Farah Soufrant, and as well as some of the candidates for City Council District 35. I don't know if there's any way for us to organize to put pressure for them to extend the lease or other solutions, but I don't think it's right for the community to lose yet another grocery store. As rumors are coming that eventually Western Beef may be closed down in the coming years. So it's a particular concern.
Thank you very much, Alejandro. Let's see, Julia Bryant, you had comments you wanted to make as well?
Yes,
You're
I
on
do.
mute.
Yeah, you can hear me now. Two things. One, I want to speak to the hiring of the new district manager. I want to make sure that when we consider someone, that we consider someone who has Brooklyn at their heart and that is not in bed with the developers. And I also want to say that I'm really sorry that Mia has taken herself out of the running, because I think that of all the candidates, that would have been the very best candidate. And then the second thing that I'd like to comment on is I was at a Parks Alliance meeting today, and they are doing a survey on how they would like to address or interface with the community. I'm on the Parks and Recreation Committee, and I never heard anything about this survey. And I just would like to have that this information, if information is coming from other city agencies, from parks, that it gets distributed to the various different committees that would normally address it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bryant. Mia, do we have any other members signed up for commentary?
None that I see.
Okay, seeing none, we're going to close
Hi,
public
Mia?
commentary. Oh, I'm sorry, who's this?
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, my name is Cal Hadley, Fenimore Street Block Association. Can I speak, or?
You have the floor.
Yes, I'm actually calling. We had called in before. I just want to make aware of the 1935 Bedford Avenue, where they are currently doing an asbestos abatement work. Just to make it, just to let everyone know, this is pretty much an irresponsible owner that pretty much have potentially exposed everyone to asbestos hazardous material due to falsification of documentation. The DEP is involved with this as well, and the DEP has been reaching out to Community Board 9 to let them know of our concerns. Right now, it's very troubling. We're concerned about our safety and health, and it looks as though they're not doing their very best to try to secure that. The place looks like a war zone at this point. This, again, it's 1935 Bedford Avenue, it's between Hawthorne and Fenimore Street. This has been going on for about 2 years. What has happened is they initially claimed that they did an abatement, which they didn't. That's because back in October, we had to make the calls, 311. Inspector showed up, took samples, and sure enough, discovered positive. The samples came back positive for asbestos, and they're now forced to clean up. But the question becomes, these two structures on the property have partial demolition done to them, and over the course of the year and a half, have pretty much exposed everyone that lives in the vicinity. There are well over 100 units. There are 2 co-ops, and the homes on Fenimore Street right adjacent to those properties. And now we're really concerned. We just wanted to, at this point, again, the DEP has reached out to community board to let them know what is happening with this property. The buildings department has, over the course of 2 years, had to shut them down and fine them numerous times. Right now, we are not sure what action can be taken against them. So we just want to make this aware, the community board and I know what's happening.
No, thank you very much for that. And I know that you've been in contact with our district office, and they've been in contact with the city as well. So absolutely, if there's any developments with that, we'll be in touch with that as well.
Right. On a daily basis, where, again, you have to see it to believe what they're doing there. I figure considering the pandemic, I truly believe that at this point, they figure no one's going to do anything. No authority will oversee it. We're the ones living here and exposed to it, but what's troubling is that they blatantly lied. And DEP has confirmed they had to terminate the license of the individual that signed off on the initial paperwork. Now they're supposed to do an investigation to find out what happened, who signed off on the paperwork that claimed that there wasn't any asbestos, or for that matter, they may have done an abatement. Clearly they lied. So again, from what the DEP representative indicated to us, the license of that person has been revoked, but the problem is the damage has been done. So potentially we've all been exposed to it over the course of a year and a half. Even the workers that they hired to work there may not even know that they were exposed to the asbestos. So this is a real concern because now it involves the whole community, this area. The wind is just blowing, all the dust and debris flying all over the place, coming into the apartment windows and the house windows. We're now breathing asbestos dust.
Okay, so we're definitely the district office is staying on top of this, and we'll be in communication if we hear anything as well. Okay. All right. Mia, are there any other?
There are no others.
Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the public commentary period. I want to thank everyone for your comments. We are now going to go to acknowledgements. I see Eli Slavin. Are you still here with us? Oh, I think you're on mute. Can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear you. All right, we'll try and see if we can come right back to you. See if we can fix your mic. See if we can come back to you. We have Ricardo from the Brooklyn Borough President's Office. Ricardo, are you there?
Good evening, CV9. How are you? So, first, I just wanted to speak on the fiscal year 2022 capital budget application that is currently open on the Brooklyn Borough website. I will be placing the information in the chat, and I'll also send it to Mia. That is for any capital budgets occurring throughout the borough, any capital programs occurring through the borough. So this includes public schools, charter schools, those types of programs. And the applications for becoming a board member at CV9, those are due February 12th, I believe. And you can also find that on our website. I will also be putting that in the chat and sending it out as well, so it can be sent to everybody as a whole. Please try to submit that as soon as you can. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. We also have Maurice Cummings from Councilmember Humphrey Samuel's office. Are you still here?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. Always a very interesting and intriguing conversation here in CP9. Again, discretionary, the window to apply for council discretionary dollars is still open, and it closes February 16th. So far, our office has only received 25 requests, so we're asking folk who want to submit, please get it to us so we can actually read all of them, review them, and give the application its required full attention. My principal member, Ampry Samuel, is also the sponsor of the Ranked Choice Voting Education Bill, bill number 1994, that is being voted on and debated on Thursday. And the bill will require city agencies to have a formal education and outreach plan about ranked choice voting. A lot of people are really not even familiar or know that this year ranked choice voting will be in effect. And there definitely is a process. People need to be educated on it, because if you are not properly educated on it and don't know all of the rules and stipulations, your vote could be disqualified out of the process pretty early. So we want to ensure that everybody is properly educated and has all of the necessary knowledge. Our office is closed, but we still continue to do constituent services, and just ask that people give us a call. We are following all COVID protocols with respects to PPE and proper spacing in our office. So if anyone has an issue and they'd like to come in, I will drop the number in the chat. Just give us a call ahead of time so we can line you up to come in and make sure that our office is properly, is readily prepared for your stopping. That's it. Thank you very much. All be well. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you very much. Are there any other, and I'm scanning, but I'm not seeing everyone. Are there any other elected officials or representatives for elected officials on the line with us today?
Yes, Karen from the DA's office.
Karen, I'm so sorry I didn't see you there.
No problem. I'm on the phone, so I kind of see what's happening in the chat. My computer isn't working well. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. I wish everybody a safe 2021. Right now, our office is open, but most of us are working from home. I have two announcements. The DA will be hosting a human trafficking awareness event, which started on Monday, the 25th, and it goes right through until the 27th. I think I sent the flyer to me. I hope you all could see it. It's very important because with this human trafficking event, they're teaching you and training you, I should say, to find out the signs of human trafficking. And it's so widespread that sometimes we don't even know that it's happening right in our own back door. So if you all want, you all could give me a call. My number is 718-250-4877. And you can come on the chat tomorrow and find out more about human trafficking. Another event we are also hosting, we are having a gun buyback. A lot of organizations are asking for it, so we are having it. This one will be on Saturday at Bethesda Healing Center. The address is 167 East 98th Street, and it's going to be from 10 until 2. So if you have any guns lying around, or you know anybody that wants to give up their guns, please let them give me a call. I can give them the address or email them a flyer, and all guns are welcome. You're getting cards for it, so you get back cash. All right. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Karen.
You're welcome.
Mr. Slavin, are you still there? Is your audio up? Okay, we have Mr. Eli Slavin from Congresswoman Yvette Clark's office. The floor is yours, sir. Slavin? Eli, are you there?
I don't see him.
I see him, but I think he's still having an audio problem. Okay. Fortunately, it looks like we're having audio issues, but we do see you, and please give our regards to the Congresswoman as well. And if there's any messages, please feel free to send that to the office and make sure we pass that along to our distributions. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. All right, are there any other representatives or officials with us? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on in the agenda. We are now going to go into our business session. Alejandra, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, I would ask you to please call the roll.
Please be ready to unmute yourself when I call your name. Nicholas Almanor.
Present.
Stuart Ballberg. Stuart Ballberg. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Virginia Bechtold. Virginia Bechtold. Rabbi Yaakov Berman.
Present.
Warren Burke.
Here.
Augustine Blackwell. Augustine Blackwell. Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown. Alejandra Carballo, present. Suki Chong.
Present.
Michelle DeRosier Caldwell.
Present.
All right, I got you, Virginia. Berlene Dozier. Berlene Dozier. Rosemary Evering. Rosemary Evering. Tessa Hackett Vieira. Tessa Hackett Vieira.
Here. Here. I'm here.
I got you. Thank you. Bishop Sylvetta Hamilton Gonzalez.
Here.
Shlomo Zalman Hecht.
Here.
Wayne King.
Present.
Primo Lasana.
All right.
Mina Lagute. Mina. Francisca Leopold.
Here.
Nolan Levinson.
Here.
Melanie Lewis.
Present.
Michael Liebert. Michael Liebert.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, was it someone
What?
saying? No. Matthias Limberger.
Here. The exact one that you need?
Rabbi
The right
Margolin.
number and all that? Present.
All members,
Michael
please remember to
Liebert
mute
here.
your mic. All members, please remember to mute your mics if you're not speaking.
Michael Liebert is here.
Okay, I have you, Michael. Robert Mitchell. Robert Mitchell. Carmen Martinez.
Here.
Vivian Morgan.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, got you. Thank you. Pat Moses.
Here.
Beverly Newsom. Beverly Newsom. Yankee Pearson.
Here. Present.
Thank you. Riel Purebooms.
Here.
Amy Pinkerton.
Present.
Unella Roan Perry. Unella Roan Perry. Dexter Roberts. Dexter Roberts. Mary Rollerson Blackett. Mary Rollerson Blackett. Desma Ross.
Present.
Melissa Severe.
Present.
Rashida Sadiq.
Here.
Rabbi Sperlin.
Here.
Debbie Timothy.
Present.
Linda Watson Lord.
Present.
Evelyn Williams.
Present.
Lorianne Wolseley.
Present.
Includes the roll.
Do you think you can help me get this?
How much is he?
Yeah, Alejandro, could you call the names one more time who were not here, just to confirm?
Okay. The names that I have that are not present are Stuart Ballberg, Augustine Blackwell, Aaron Brown, Verlene Dozier, Rosemary Evering, Mina Lagute, Robert Mitchell, Beverly Newsom, Unella Romperi, Dexter Roberts, Mary Rollerson Blackett. I believe that's it. So,
Sorry, I was present. I sorry, my computer's giving problems, but I was
okay.
Dexter Roberts.
Dexter Roberts. Okay, I have you. Thank
Sorry.
you.
Okay. Is it possible, can you check, because I see Verlene Dozier on the line, but I don't believe they're responding. Is there any way to check to see if we can get a response or unmute their mic? Her mic? Okay, if anything, she'll have to confirm her attendance
Okay.
later. Okay, but thank you very much. What is our current count?
$34 present.
34. Thank you very much. 34 members of the board present. We have
9 absent. Actually, sorry,
Okay.
10 absent, I believe.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a quorum. Do we have any minutes for the board to approve for this month?
The December general board meeting minutes are forwarded to the complete board for review ahead of the meeting last Friday.
Okay. So with that, are there any questions or revisions that need to be made for the minutes for December? Okay, seeing none, the minutes stand as approved. Stand approved as stated. Moving on, we're going to go on to committee reports. Are there any committee chairs that wish to make a brief report this evening? Okay, seeing none, moving right along. We're going to go right into the chairman's report. Can you bear with me 1 second? Gather my notes. Okay, everyone. So again, I just want to welcome everyone and thank everyone. We are now our year for the community board. I want to thank all the members for their hard work and good work. But as I say, the reward for good work is more work, and we definitely have a lot of that to do for the rest of the year. But I definitely wanted to celebrate some of the accomplishments, the milestones in terms of getting to this point. I'm very happy and pleased with the hard work that our committees have been doing. I want to thank all the chairs for their hard work and diligence with regards to that. I also did want to make sure that we acknowledge the hard work of our district office team, Ms. Mia Hilton and Mr. Khalid Nixon. Among the accomplishments that they've done in terms of definitely keeping that office running, making sure they're addressing community concerns. We've got our website is now up, and it's looking great. So we're going to be adding content as we go along as well. And definitely we're looking to use that as a hub in terms of being able to communicate with residents and community members. In terms of the new website, I think there's some improved functionality where we're able to put up calendar items. You can download them as well and make sure that they're going on your calendars. So hopefully this will be the launch point in terms of improving communications between the board and with the community in general. We are in that time of the year where we are going through the budget process. So the budget process is going to be coordinated by the assistant district manager. So we're going to be scheduling a hearing, which is going to happen in the February timeframe, where community residents will have an opportunity to review the responses.
We can't hear you, Chair. You're muted, Chair. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I covered my mic. Is that better?
Yes.
Is that better? Okay, sorry about that.
Yes.
So the assistant district managers are going to be coordinating that in terms of we're going to be organizing a hearing where community members and their board members will be able to comment on the responses from the agencies. And we can issue a statement of needs in terms of things that we definitely need to make sure are prioritized as part of this budget process.
Can I
so
ask you a question? Sorry, Fred, can I ask a question?
Let me conclude my report first, and I'll open it for questions from the board members. So with regards to city budgets, as long as we're talking about budgets, so obviously the city has been experiencing financial difficulties. So one of the things that was approved by the executive committee was, or at least acknowledged by the executive committee, was there were cuts to community board budgets across the board. So we were able to have a conversation with the Office of Management and Budget. And with regards to that, we were able to identify those areas where money would be reduced from our budget. But thanks to the work of the district office team, we're hopeful that the impacts to services will be minimal, hopefully non-existent, and we're hoping that this is the last round of cuts that we'll be experiencing, and we'll be able to continue. But this kind of speaks to the fact that I think planned well last year. I think we made sure that we tried to spend money on resources to make sure that we had access to certain things, certain supplies, certain things in stock. Because we are still in the midst, we're still without a DM, we're also able to have some of those funds diverted to absorb some of the cuts in terms of monies from our CB9 budget. But I definitely, again, want to thank the district office team and the executive committee for input with regards to this. One of the things we're also doing is, as we are in the new year, we are also reviewing attendance. So we want to make sure that board members, definitely make sure that they understand that this is the commitment that we're expecting from all members. It's definitely not necessarily something that's convenient, but we do need for all members to make sure that they're showing up on a monthly basis so that way the board can handle its business. So we are conducting preliminary reviews. We've also already done a review of general board meeting attendance. I have also communicated to all chairs to make sure that they are communicating attendance on the committee level as well. One of the changes that we instituted when I assumed chairmanship was traditionally we had board members serve on 2 committees, understanding that there was definitely an extra commitment of time in terms of all the board members. So I definitely empathize, we're all taxed with between board work and whatever work they're doing. We reduced that commitment to 1 committee meeting for each member. But again, that calls for, we need to make sure that all members are attending and participating diligently in all their assigned meetings. With regards to another update, I think last month we had discussed the 960 Franklin Avenue project, where there was a lawsuit, and I believe that, well, actually there was a lawsuit, and also there was word from the mayor's office that he was no longer supporting the project. However, from follow-up conversations we have had, the indications that we have had are that this project is going to go forward. The applicant will be continuing on with the ULURP process. So I have had communications with the ULURP chair. As we get additional information, that information is going to be passed to the ULURP committee. And if there's a certification that happens, we are going to make sure that it is noted on our website, and we will commence with our portion of the ULURP process. The community board has 60 days in which to actually have a hearing and make a determination. We definitely intend to make sure that we are vigorous in terms of making sure we are getting all the information we need to have and coming up with a decision that we believe reflects the interest of this, community. Additionally, it was mentioned that there's a proposal for a city master plan with regards to development and city planning. So details about that are coming out. One of the things we're doing as a board is we are trying to outreach to the council to see if we can get additional information on what this plan entails and what the impacts are going to be with regards to the community, with regards to the planning, with regards to the ULURP process in general, to see how we have input and insight into these processes. Lastly, I would just like to speak with regards to the DM search committee. So we did have a special meeting which was called on January 4th. We did have preliminary conversations. We had a second round of interviews with the candidates that were presented by the search committee. There was no final determination made from that meeting, but this board will be continuing the conversation with regards to the candidates that were presented, and we will be making determinations in line with the bylaws in terms of we will either accept a recommendation from the committee, or we will, per the bylaws, reject candidates, and at that point, there are other decisions that we can make with regards to either referring back to the committee or creating a new search committee. But I do want to say at this point, and I feel it's very necessary, this is a process that has not been arbitrary. This is a process that has been transparent. This has been a process that's been well thought out. And this is something that members of this board have reported on every step of the way. When we initially entertained starting this back up, we actually came before the board in November of 2019 and developed a process. And the board voted on this process by which we were going to do this. We continued with this process, although with a brief interruption because of COVID-19. The search committee has been diligent in terms of making sure that there was communication. They received over 142 applications, which they reviewed every single one of them. They developed a scoring rubric. They had internal conversations. They had meetings of the committee, which board members were able to participate in as well. And that committee came up with a list of recommendations. And I do want to say at this point, right now, that this committee has worked really hard. And it is something that is definitely disappointing in terms of afterwards we hear a lot of members want to take pot shots in terms of the integrity of the committee or the integrity of the board and some of its officers in stating that we have some kind of agenda or that we're blind and that we're just trying to pick anyone who's unqualified. Those members, those candidates who have been presented to the board are those candidates that were best, that the committee best felt were going to be successful in this position. The board will continue with this process and review the information before, and we are going to make a determination. But this committee has worked hard, this board has worked hard. And at the end of the day, the commitment on this board is that we are going to come up with what we believe is the best decision for this community. And to be clear, this board, please make sure your mic's muted. This board, the 44 members who currently sit, are the ones who are charged with making this happen. And all members will stand by their decisions. And the only thing I ask is that all board members consider that. But after this, I think that in terms of this process, this board can be very proud in terms of the way this is conducted. So we will continue with this conversation. I will entertain questions at this point from board members.
Hi, Fred. I have just two questions that relate to the same thing. I missed one. I didn't write it down fast enough. But I know that you have the budget process, you said, and you're going to have a public forum in February. But I think I just want to know what the board's plan is as far as providing information to the public on the website, perhaps, or other channels of communications prior to the public meeting to try to understand and discuss the budget issues. I think that it behooves us to inform the public of information that impacts them in this budget process. And again, it might have been out there before, but I think that that's our role in order to kind of summarize and present the information so people are prepared for the public meeting. And the same goes for the 960 Franklin certification. If we're going to have a public forum or discussion after it's certified. When are we going to post information on our website pertaining to this project, like a full summary? It's like what it is, what we hope to convey in a public session, and what the public should come prepared to do. And I think these things take planning, and I was just wondering what the board is planning to do prior to both these sessions being scheduled. Thank you.
All right, just very briefly with regards to 960. So 960 is definitely not something that is a surprise with regards to Community Board 9. So there has definitely been intense conversation that has been happening with myself, the executive committee, with the ULURP chair and the ULURP committee themselves as well. So I think that there are some preliminary conversations that have already been happening. So I think we're all definitely already ahead of the curve with regards to that. I will definitely have, we're going to have conversations with the ULURP committee. I believe in empowering my chairs as much as possible, and I believe that they're going to be spearheading this process. But definitely this is going to be something where we are going to make sure that there are opportunities to put the information out there and to get public commentary as well. The additional details will be coming from the ULURP committee as we get them as well. If I could go back to your first point with regards to the budget, Mia, can you speak to that for a couple of minutes or very briefly?
Sure. The agency responses to the statement of needs and budget requests will be disseminated to the community and posted on the website. And similarly, when we were inquiring, soliciting input for the budget, we're going to create a Google form so that members of the public, as well as the board membership, can submit their thoughts, and their recommendations based on the statement of needs and the agency responses. And that'll be disseminated to the community probably this Friday, but it will be in a separate email apart from the regular weekly email, so that it's not mixed and lost in the mix of the weekly email. But it will be a corresponding Google form similar to that was previously released when we compiled the initial budget, that will allow everyone to submit their individual recommendations and thoughts. And if not recommendations, thoughts.
If I could just add, this might be something that happens after a new DM is in place, but we have no carryover from the previous year. So it would be kind of nice every year, like when we do this budgeting, to kind of recap what happened in the prior year and maybe solicit people's opinions or feedback, saying what worked, what didn't work, what would you like to see, what didn't we accomplish, etc. So we can like bake that in and then provide an executive summary sometime after the budget process is over, saying, hey, you know what, this is the feedback we received, we're going to address it, we're going to try better next year, whatever it is. But I think having each budget process independent year to year to year doesn't benefit the community as much as something that would build upon each cycle and then maybe perhaps prepare us better for the next. That's my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pinkerton.
Thank you. Yakov.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody. Good evening again. I'm not really gonna. I don't want to really address the process. I'm in a minority view. I'm a team player. I'm gonna follow the what the majority of the board wants. I do, however, want to address two comments that were made tonight regarding the process during public commentary. First of all, I have to say that I'm offended and astonished that the candidates' friends are being vetted at who they are friends with and what segments of the community, who their friends are. That is so inappropriate and so offensive. I'm completely taken aback and disturbed that we're checking and seeing what demographics people have, from what demographic people's friends are on Facebook. And I have to say I'm personally offended. And on that note, I also want to say, I belong to the Hasidic community of Crown Heights. The synagogue I belong to was established in 1940. I live here since 1983. The Hasidic community of Crown Heights is about 20% of the neighborhood, or 15%. I want to say that, I find it the tragic comedy of some of the people that are lecturing me or others here about what we should be voting for and who we should be voting for and who has roots and who doesn't have roots. Some of these people seem to have come to Crown Heights in the last few years. And who gives you the right to lecture? And there are many African American and Caribbean American members of this board that have been here for 40, 50 years. And people that have come in recent years, who gives you the right to lecture us, the long-term residents of Crown Heights, about what roots in the community, who has roots and who doesn't have roots, and who we're allowed to be friends with and who we're not allowed to be friends with? It's so inappropriate. I just had to say that. Thank you for the floor, Fred.
Thank you, Rafa. Are there any other questions with regards to the chairman's report? Okay, with that being said, I do have one action item, which is the consideration of the candidates for the district manager position. At this point, I will entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of interviewing candidates with a vacancy and position, the discussion and selection of a final candidate, and potential salary tender offer. Do I have a
So moved.
One of the so moved. Can I get a name?
Second. Michael Liebert, so moved first one.
Okay, I have moved by Michael Liebert. And do I have a second?
Second by Linda Watson Lord.
I have a second by Linda Watson Lord.
I'm sorry, Fred, can you just restate the motion? I know it approved, but I just want to know what we're going to do in executive session.
No, absolutely. So the motion is to move into executive session for the purpose of, strike that. For the purpose of selecting the candidate for the vacant DM position, the discussion, move into executive session for the discussion and selection of a final candidate and potential salary tender offer. Okay. Are there any other questions with regards to the motion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Are there any opposed?
Vivia.
Please note for the record, member Vivian Morgan is opposed. Anyone else opposed? Very well. Are there any abstentions?
I abstain.
Please note for the record, Carmen Martinez abstained. All right. As I hear it, the ayes have it. We are now moving to executive session. Mia, please move all non-members of community, into the waiting room, please. Okay, seeing none, the motion carries. The time is now 9:45. We're exiting executive session. Mia, please let all the community into the room.
Everyone's back.
So let's go.
Okay, I want to thank everyone. So we are now returning from executive session. We ended executive session at 9:45. The board has voted, and we're going to confirm our vote right now in session. Committee Board 9 has selected by a majority candidate number 97. Community Board. 9 is going to extend a contingent offer of employment to candidate number 97 for a specified salary to be disclosed, which will be confirmed by a final vote of the board in the February board meeting. Members of the board, I will entertain a motion for this resolution.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
This is pending a background check, et cetera. Did you say that?
Background check. Yes, I'm sorry. Pending completion of all administrative requirements, background check, and acceptance of salary. Okay, so do I have a motion?
Yes, you have a motion.
Moved by Shlomo Heck. Do I have a second?
Second.
What was the vote count?
We're going to confirm the count. Everybody's going to vote on this now. We're going to confirm it in public. So do I have a second?
Second, sir.
Second by Linda Watson Lord. All right, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Sorry, who moved? I just want to make sure I get this right.
Moved by Shlomo Heck.
Just to confirm, yes is for the candidate 97 and the salary to be disclosed and voted on in February. That's the motion? All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. So call the roll. Chair, call the roll.
Yes, please.
Okay. Nicholas Almanor.
Yes.
Stuart Ballberg.
Yes. Yes.
Fred Baptiste.
Yes.
Virginia Bechtold.
Yes.
Rabbi Berman.
Yes.
Warren Burke.
Yes.
Alejandra Caraballo, yes. Suki Chung.
Yes.
Michelle DeRosier Caldwell.
Yes.
Verlene Dozier, assuming she is still not able to. Tessa Hackett Vieira. Tessa Hackett Vieira.
Abstain.
Bishop Sylvetta Hamilton Gonzalez.
Yes.
Shlomo Zalman Hecht.
Yes.
Wayne King. Person that left. Primo Lasana.
Yes.
Francisca Leopold.
Yes.
Nolan Levinson.
Yes.
Melanie Lewis.
Yes.
Michael Liebert.
Yes.
Matthias Limberger.
Yes.
Rabbi Margolin.
Yes.
Carmen Martinez.
Abstain.
Vivian Morgan.
Abstain.
Pat Moses.
Yes.
Yankee Pearson.
Yes.
Riel Peerbooms.
Yes.
Amy Pinkerton.
Yes.
Dexter Roberts.
Yes.
Melissa Severe.
Yes.
Rashida Sadiq.
Abstain.
Rabbi Sperlin.
Yes.
Debbie Timothy.
Yes.
Linda Watson Lord.
Yes.
Evelyn Williams.
Lisa, yes.
Lorianne Wolseley.
Yes.
32 votes in favor, 3 abstentions. The motion carries.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. That concludes that report. Is there any old business for the board? Saying none. Is there any new business? Saying none. I want to thank the board so we will meet again in February. We will discuss the items. I want to thank everyone. I want to make sure that everyone remembers to check the calendar, to attend your meetings diligently as well. I want to thank you for all your time and commitment. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to
I have a
adjourn.
move. I have 5 motions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Was that the noes have it? Time is now 9:53. We stand adjourned. Everyone, thank you very much. Take care. Stay safe.
Done.
Stay safe, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.